Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? We have episode number 36 of Marvel Yap today, as we're going to be talking about high voltage, snap packs, as well as we have a Series 4 and 5 must-buy tier list going on for you guys. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, we are joined with the hostest with the mostest, not my freaking Dance. How are we doing today, Dance?
I'm doing well, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't got the mostest anymore, Tuck. You got more than me. You do have more. You got more. Did you know about that? You as of just a couple days ago, you've got more than me.
I mean, just a couple hairs more, since I am a dad now. We did.
I was gonna say, did you get extra hairs, or did the baby come?
The baby already had hairs. We did have my son this past week, which is freaking incredible. I didn't think, the feeling of being a dad would be, ooh, I'm a dad now. But there's a different breath of fresh air and a different feeling to have now. It's one more person to worry about, but it's one more amazing person just to have in your life, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you. Because last week you were hinting at it that you thought it was you. Did you? you didn't even know you were gonna have it by this point. Which, to be fair, that's kind of the whole point, right? You don't typically know it, but you thought you had it even more planned, and it didn't even work out. But it definitely worked out, to be fair, actually. But you know what I mean? Yeah,
we weren't supposed to have my son until Thursday of this week, but we ended up having Amber induced last week, and we had my son on Friday this past week.
Nice. So April 11th.
Yes.
Right. All right. April 11th. There you go. Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Congratulations, Tuck. It's super awesome for you. I'm so happy for you to be able to take this next step into your life's next journey. But not to spend the whole time yapping about this amazing stuff happening to you.
Yep.
There's some pretty interesting stuff happening to Snap over this next period of time as well, that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how amazing this OTA was on Thursday, and how it reshaped the entire forefront of the Marvel Snap meta.
It's not even below us in the sections. if you're watching, we're not talking about the OTA. It's a nothing burger.
Sorry, that's my father brain going on. But we do have snap packs, high voltage, and we have a Series 4 and 5 card tier list going with the theme of snap packs. The way the tier list is right now, it's going only off of cards that have been released so far. Any inferences we have for new cards, we're not going to be adding. We could talk about them, but we're going to try and add cards to the list each week, after they release, to kind of see how they settle, and then we'll regroup and stuff probably every couple months or so, depending on if there are any series drops and meta/card adjustments.
Yeah, especially with the series drops, and with people are going to be able to slightly more target these packs as we go into them. It definitely feels like that's going to be something I think we should probably discuss, and people are going to be like, okay, at least over the last month, did I want these cards that came out during the What If season? Did I want the cards that came out in the Prehistoric Avengers season or what have you? But let's talk about the actual snap packs, because we did get the official video announcing those last week.
Yeah, and they're very interesting, right?
So yeah, these are going to be the rates for them. What is it? So you can still get your new cards, your new Series 5 cards, and as well as I think it's going to still let you potentially. Maybe it's not even pinning there. I don't know if you can still pin them. I feel like I heard that you can still do that in the Discord, but don't know what's going to be happening for certain with those. But you have the new card shown on screen here, which you can still get for the same price as before. So 6,000 for Series 5, and then 3,000 for Series 4. But then these seasonal snap packs are going to be the biggest thing that we really haven't discussed as much, because this is the seasonal Series 5 pack is going to contain all the cards that released last season and this season that were in Series 5. So that will be, if we're comparing it for this season, when it comes out on April 29th, you'll be able to get anyone from the Hydra Stomper to Infinity Ultron, who we'll be talking about later today, to Captain Carter, who would be dropped into the series. No, you can't get Captain Carter immediately. You can get Agamotto from last season, though. Strange Supreme, Goliath, and I feel like there's one more that I'm forgetting.
I think Kahori, yeah.
Yeah. So you'd get those all, and that is from the current season of Snap and the previous season. And then the seasonal Series 4 ones are half the price, so 2,500 collector tokens. And within those, you have a chance to get any of the Series 4 cards that released within the last 2 seasons and the current one. So so you have a slightly larger window because the amount of Series 4 cards that are directly released are smaller. So you'd get for that one for us, there's stuff like Uncle Ben, oh god, who else am I thinking about? There's Gorgon.
So are they all released now? I think they're in the token shop. I know there have been some like discrepancies with some of the game mode cards not releasing to the token
I think they're
shop
supposed
but
to.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to. I'm just
They're
curious.
supposed to
That's
release
not like
whenever the event finishes, I think. Unless they're, which also I wonder if they're going to be I think maybe they're going to release some during the season just normally. I don't know if there's any confirmation on that, but I feel like that's happening. Maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, that's just those seasonal packs and just the base stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also you have your classic packs, which are slightly hidden by the overlay below, but that is a 4,000 for any of the Series 5 cards and I think those are specifically the Series 5 cards that are not in the seasonal pack. Then you've got your Series 4 options, which again, specifically not inside of that seasonal pack, and the Series 3, any of the Series 3 packs. And that is for 4,000 collector tokens, 2,000 collector tokens, and 650 collector tokens, respectively. 5, 4, 3. I don't know. I think those are the details there, Tuck, right?
Yeah, and I think like the discount you're able to get on some of these cards is pretty solid. Instead of having to pay $6,000 for a new Series 5 card, of course, if you want the newer Series 5 cards, you have to pay an extra $1,000, opposed to waiting a couple months for them to drop out of the seasonal series. Mm-hmm. To be able to pick them up is nice. And then Series 4 cards, right now, the only Series 4 cards that have been releasing have been, game mode cards. So if you're missing any other Series 4 cards, they should just be in the regular collector's pack. So if you want to get Darkhawk for 2,000 collector's tokens if you don't have Darkhawk yet, that's not bad. And then Series 3 cards being 650 instead of 1,000, I think is really solid. You're saving a lot, so you're not having to spend as much as you would up until this point. But overall, Dance, what are your thoughts on these packs? Because they have also said that they want to be adding more cards each season. So that changes my mind a little bit on the packs itself, but I don't want to, turn the question just yet with that added info. But how are you feeling before I say I got a little bit to talk about?
Give me the one answer then. What do you mean by the what were you trying to say that you're concerned about here? I want to make sure I understand that bit before I.
So the best example I have for this, okay, is with Sanctum Showdown. So with Sanctum Showdown, we had Twitch drops, which gave us extra currency in game to be able to pretty much get all of the brand new cards that released in Sanctum Showdown. And that was a great benefit. You just had to have your Twitch open. You didn't even have to watch. You could have just lurked in streams to get that. And you were able to get all 3 of the Sanctum Showdown cards. Whereas this, you are using collector's tokens. Yes, you do get 50 tokens daily, which will be nice. But I'm thinking when they do add an influx of more Series 4 and Series 5 cards, and unless it does seem like it is pretty achievable to be able to get all so much more tokens, there's going to be a lot more feels bad in this sense than just with Spotlight caches. Just in the aspect of it's a bunch of new cards. All right, I'm opening my seasonal Series 5, and I think it's maybe the FOMO that Spotlight caches had if you weren't collection complete opposed to being collection complete. And maybe that's the aspect I'm trying to grasp right now is I haven't been, in that state in a long time. So unless, of course, you have the resources, there might be some times where, 3 cards just came out this week. All right, I can open 2 packs to get those cards. Granted, yes, they're going to be in rotation for the entirety of the season, right? But I just got Uncle Ben and Gorgon, but I really wanted Laufey because I play a lot of Affliction. Now I need to wait until I get more of those resources again. I'm hoping that it doesn't get to that point. I could see it. Like, I'm not negative on the packs itself. That's just the one downside I could see with just a large influx of cards, is just the weird economy aspect of the tokens and being able to obtain all the cards you want.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say, so one of the things that was announced as well is that we are going to be getting more tokens even per month, and they want to be able to focus on actually giving more tokens or being able to use them more so as a reward, not feeling like they can hold back on them. And even so much so that they're going to be having direct like places where you can buy collector tokens for gold, as well as you get 50 collector tokens free a day. That's not saying anything against or for what you were saying. That's just information there. And you can see the rates below for what it's worth, but I'll say it anyway. 1,300 gold for 1,000 collector's tokens, 3,100 gold for 2,500 collector's tokens, and then 6,000 gold for 5,000 collector's tokens. And then there are some more piles of collector's tokens that we do not have the exact amount of gold that you will have to pay for. Just we don't know that stuff yet. But in regards to the actual, to the packs themselves, I feel like that's my biggest issue potentially as well, is going to be the amount of new cards they actually release per month.
Yeah.
And I think that they hit it a little bit in the dev Q&A video where this was announced, where they said they do want to release more cards, but they also didn't make it seem like they were going to be releasing an exuberant amount of cards per month. And if it changes just to being, I don't know, one more series, we get a couple more, I'm imagining maybe series 4 cards. And then, and then we're getting either the same amount, which kind of seems like it's going to be the same amount of series 5 cards, or slightly more. I think it's going to be fine. And my current idea with this bit is, I think that this system for the actual packs, snap packs, not token packs as you see, but the actual snap packs that we saw a second ago on screen, those snap packs, I think for the most part are going to be good for the economy. And I think the biggest things I've heard against is just like, you have the randomness, you have the RNG of potentially getting the stuff you didn't want. And I feel like that already exists. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of just where we already exist inside of this system. I don't think the system honestly is that kind right now. It kind of forces you into this lane. And there are plenty of times I feel like where we've talked about the spotlights and we're like, yeah, this is a really bad week because it has 2 series 4 and a new series 5 or whatever. And it just turns it into a guaranteed new series 5 card. And that's one of the best things about these actual packs, that they don't let dupes happen. And you can sometimes even get extra rewards inside of them.
Yeah, no, the duplicate protection is really solid.
Yeah. And the extra rewards as well is also really interesting, which we don't have the exact information on yet. But in general, the more I've looked at this, I just think this seems like it's going to be really good. I'm very optimistic, very hopeful that it's going to be a solid system. Like I said, just the big stuff I'm worried about is how many new cards are going to be coming out per month. Because what I personally expect is I expect a lot of people to be excited about this new system and then still upset that this new system isn't going to let them get all the cards for free. Because I don't believe it would. And it shouldn't. It shouldn't. And I know no one wants that, but it is a free game. They should not give you everything for free. But the fact that these do straight up just turn into new cards that are guaranteed to be brand new, not going to be some other what's it called? You're not going to be getting any sort of weird spotlight variant or 1,000 tokens or 2,000 tokens as of now. It seems like the fallback and the protection and just the rewards that we are going to be getting from this system are substantially better, in my personal opinion, than what we had previously.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can totally vouch there. I also, with this graphic, I'm gonna pour one out for the old Token Tuesdays here, as the prices for tokens have surely increased for the gold market, which I get it because it's a new resource there. But I do really hope, and I really, really, really hope, going back to what you're saying, is like that they do release cards to Series 4 for new cards, because it'll be a major feels bad if when they add new cards, they're all Series 5. And I think that is where this could go wrong, is if they only released Series 5 cards every single month while they also have the Series 4 card option. I'm not saying every single card has to be like every other card has to be Series 4, Series 5, but at least maybe 30 to 40% maybe of the new cards coming out can be Series 4, and then the rest are Series 5. Just some sort of moderate percentage of cards being in the Series 4 as well, I think, to help mitigate the market more. So it's not just Series 5, Series 5, Series 5, Series 5, which is what we have right now, unless it is a game mode card.
Yeah. Which I think, haven't they even mentioned that where they said like they want the new cards or like the game mode cards to be more specific or whatever, right? Is that a thing I feel like I've heard?
I think I remember something like that.
I could have remembered it. Maybe I don't remember it. I don't know. But yeah, I feel so that's going to be a whole different aspect of the situation as well. I feel like that we're not going to be able to have good information on, because my guesstimate is that we're going to be getting the same, if not 1 or 2 more Series 5 cards a month. And then I'm guessing 3 or 4 Series 4 cards a month. That's my guess. I got no proof on this, but based off of the way they've talked about stuff and the way it seems like it's going through, it seems like that's going to be potentially what we go for. But I'm not certain one way or another. But yeah, in general, I'm stoked about the system. I think it's going to be good. I'm hoping it's going to be good. The biggest thing I also feel like I'm going to be questioning potentially is I expect that the economy, as time goes on, people will get more and more annoyed with it. But I still do think, though, that this is straight up just a better system than what we had before. Maybe that's copium, maybe I'm wrong, but just based off of all the descriptors, everything I've read so far and seen, it does legitimately feel like this system itself is going to hopefully provide more cards getting into the hands of players. And I think that's a really cool piece that I feel it's been hard to do up until now.
Yeah, no.
And I think that this is going to be better for that, and which is what people really want.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think with this kind of this concept and idea of new cards, we do actually have some new cards coming out again this next week. Post Tuesday, we do have the good old return of a High Voltage. And we have potentially 2 cards coming out with high voltage this week. Of course, the topic right now we have at High Voltage, we're going to be talking about like some decks and stuff, but we'll also be talking about the new cards when we go over that right before the new Series 4 and Series 5 segment.
Yeah. And I mean, Wiccan, I think, is just, as we talk about High Voltage, if you're looking for cards that you're kind of like, what are some good decks, whatever, we're going to briefly mention some of the ones that we personally preferred and maybe just some highlight cards that are just straight up good in High Voltage. Wiccan, I think, is one of those cards that is just straight up good, because oftentimes if you can play him on turn 1, which you can do, you get more energy than your opponent, and that's 4 extra energy for the last 2 turns of the game. And even if it doesn't work out, he still is going to give you 6 points on the board, which is good stats. So Wiccan's is one of those cards, especially in High Voltage, really performed well, and I'm excited for this next one, because I feel like we're going to be messing with a lot more stuff here.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to see just this state of the meta right now going into High Voltage, because some of that does trickle in where some of it doesn't. I know I personally really like playing High Voltage because you don't have to win every single time. Like, I can just go mess around, see what decks I can have fun with to beat some of these meta decks. Or it's like, I need to do this mission, I need to do this mission. Oh no, I lost, but I'm still completing stuff. I'm still getting, progression towards, being able to get the new or potentially 2 new cards, which is great. I like that. This is a breath of fresh air, and it kind of feels like a sandbox mode in a sense when it comes to like Snap.
I feel like I feel like it's really true. The biggest thing I remember, I feel like I saw in this last one was I think the card that was most common, which it sounds weird, but I feel like I saw a very large amount of like that Black Panther style of stuff, where people were just like, they said screw it, they had Black Panther in there. They even had like, people were running Phoenix Force in a Black Panther deck because it just, you got the value with the Nimrods there as well. Shuri was even in some versions with like stuff that like I don't think would ever work on ladder. This was, I think, one of the more popular decks that I personally remember. This package of cards, there's a bunch of different variations, but this Nimrod Black Panther pile that just had great stats and just meant it so that if you destroyed the cards, you got value with either Phoenix Force or it's Nimrod like this, and you don't care.
Yeah, I think what's really cool, like when it comes to like High Voltage, you can play very combo heavy decks because you're drawing 2 cards every single turn, opposed to just 1. So like you're talking about with Phoenix Force, a very combo heavy deck, works well with the Shuri interaction. Having that extra energy is kind of why you're not playing a lot of Shuri overall on the main course of ladder, because it feels like it's just too late to compete with a lot of these decks. Mr. Negative, just like Wiccan, a turn 1 Mr. Negative. The rest of the cards you draw are just all already Mr. Negative, and then you can also Jane potentially. That is really solid. You also see a lot of just Wong Wombo combos. Thank goodness they did not allow Gambit this last time around in high voltage, because that was just toxic. Having that,
dude, Gambit being banned in high voltage was one of the they banned cards in Sanctum Showdown. They banned cards elsewhere, but Gambit being banned in high voltage, that was one of the things that made me most happy right there, because I didn't want nothing in me wanted to deal with that. And it made me so happy to deal with that. But all these on-reveal decks obviously were very good, but there was a very good chunk of just straight up ongoing stuff with cards, again, aren't really played much, with Patriot, who did just get a buff in the OTA, which we're not really talking about because, again, it was a nothing burger of an OTA. But Patriot got a buff in this, and what is it? And he was the Ultron Patriot style of deck was doing well. It had actually it had some very good stats in high voltage, and it was another one that people would be running pretty consistently and successfully.
Yeah, no, I think Patriot. You also had some Spectrum packages. Like, it just kind of makes sense, and I think you'll see a lot more still Spectrum stuff, because Goliath is still around and still really solid. Doom 2099 still gets value, and getting one of that out early can be interesting. Granted, you're not probably playing that style shell, but like also like a Living Tribunal, like you're seeing some of that. Like you get onslaught value in the 3 turns. A lot of the missions were like win all 3 lanes or have certain amounts of power. So you had Living Tribunal to kind of make that happen. For that, and then also people were playing some Affliction, so you're seeing some Ajax Affliction, potentially even like High Evo. Like High Evo is very interesting to see that happen in high voltage, but I do remember seeing a little bit of that go on.
Yeah, and also, I mean, speaking of all these ongoing cards, just as the anti-ongoing, Sauron is one that's actually come back into ladder, and inside of high voltage, it was doing well before. It was even had Shuri. It was kind of similar to that Shuri Sauron stuff there, which was pretty good. And again, this is one of the ones that I'm like, I could easily see this making another return, considering that Sauron from the previous version of high voltage, previously he was a 3/4. Now he's at 2/2. I think there's a really good chance that this is one of the best decks in high voltage. I have 1 or 2 more decks that I don't know that weren't really in the previous iterations, but I think are going to be really solid in this one.
Yeah, no, I think Sauron, like you said, is just incredible. And you get, like, just what makes high voltage so much fun is a lot of these older shells you've grown to just love over time that maybe aren't super relevant in the meta now. You're drawing 2 cards every single turn, so you're able to reach and be like, oh wait, I can actually do this and do this now because I drew these cards. And you know what decks you're building. You're not. Some people are playing Aeroshim to have that extra energy, and like they're still playing Thanoshem and stuff, but it's just cope at that point.
I'd agree, but I'll say, so I've got 2 potential things that weren't really, they were somewhat good in the last version, but I think that especially in this this iteration of high voltage, I think there's a really good chance that these 2 potentially are going to be very powerful decks that weren't really played before, but I think there's a good chance they come into gameplay now. And one is, as much as I don't want to say it because I know how much you love it, I think that Black Knight, Ghost Rider, Infinite stuff, I think there's a really good chance that you can get some great value and some really strong plays with those. Again, just because of the fact that if you float that first turn for Infinite, you can play it on turn 2 9 times out of 10.
No, that is true. The way you are normally going to end up with at least like 6 energy going into turn 2 very, very often. So Black Knight, that is a really solid shout there. I think that's fair. I know you like the shout. What's the other one you got?
I think there's a chance that Kaori Devil Dino becomes a thing.
Oh, with all the card generation stuff having the extra energy to be able to make that work?
I think there's a good chance that, especially considering the fact that you, like, if just getting a big hand and then using the Kaori, potentially using Devil Dino on that final turn just to put your power onto the board everywhere, I think there's a really good chance that Kaori and or Devil Dino, probably just Kaori because Devil Dino really isn't seeing much play still even after the OTA, gave him an extra point of power. I think that there's a really good chance that Kaori gives a lot of value stuff. Kaori, like that Victoria hand stuff. I think there's a lot of great stuff there. I also enjoyed even trying to do Loki things, but like these are all decks I think are going to be potentially like really good that weren't there before, and also some really fun ones for, you know, this for this current one. Do you have any other ones that in particular that that you think either will or really won't work regarding either newer stuff or just other decks that really didn't get shined on before?
So I think, of course, spoiler alert, I think Infinity Ultron's going to be pretty fun to just mess around with in high voltage.
Good shout. Yeah.
And then I'll be playing probably still more Firehair. Zombies Firehair list was so much fun to play last time, so I'm excited to play that again. I mean, I truly enjoy this card overall. Like, I know I've been super high on this card since it released, and I still find a lot of fun and value with this. I've been playing some new decks that we're kind of going to be hinting at a little bit here, actually, when we do talk about Infinity Ultron, when it comes to high voltage. But I agree. I think I'm just excited just to have fun and just try some stuff out. And I think what's really cool, even with trying this stuff out, like, maybe they don't work on ladder, day one, right? You probably can't use a lot of these decks on ladder day one, but it helps promote even more deck building for some of these newer style decks to be like, okay, well, this worked in high voltage. Maybe I could change around a couple pieces and actually make this relevant on ladder, which I think is really cool when it also comes. That's why I say it's like a sandbox, like game mode, because you're able to kind of just build in that type of aspect.
Yeah, there's a lot of really fun stuff there. I think, what is it? Yeah, it's just going to be so much fun. And I mean, the only other deck that I really talk about is, I feel like we can talk about with actually Infinity Ultron, is I feel like Surfer is another real possibility. It also works with Firehair stuff, obviously. But I mean, speaking of Infinity Ultron, I like that shout as well. Let's talk about Infinity Ultron.
Yeah, good old Infinity Ultron over here as we do our little transition over. We do have Infinity Ultron, the brand new Series 5 card that is releasing today. That is a 5-cost, 6-power card with the ability on reveal, add 2 of Ultron's stones to your hand.
And there's a lot of those stones. Mm-hmm. And it's similar to, again, if you remember Kate Bishop's arrows, it is just, you get them, and it's 2 random ones. So you have there's a pool of 6, and you have a 1/3 chance of getting a card of one of them that you want. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty random. But you got the Space Stone, which on reveal as a 3/4 moves the lowest power enemy card here to the location of Infinity Ultron. You then have the Reality Stone, which is a 3/1 on reveal, add a drone here, and you set its power to Infinity Ultron's power. Then you've also got the Time Stone, which is as another 3/1 on reveal. Just put a card from your hand here, better version of Fire Wing or Red Wing, whatever. Mind Stone is a 3/2 ongoing. Your on reveal abilities here happen twice, which that's the only ongoing I think out of all of them. Power Stone is on reveal, just double Infinity Ultron's power as a 3/2. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, actually a little bit leastly, I feel like, 3/3 Soul Stone on reveal. For each of your full locations, give one of your cards there +2 power. God, that was a lot. One of the biggest things I'm concerned about with Infinity Ultron, and as I've like built with it more and tried to figure it out, I'm concerned about basically playing it on turn 5.
Yeah.
Because if I'm playing it on turn 5, that means that on turn 6, I'm probably playing those 2 stones because that's what you play them for. You don't play them for a 5/6.
Yeah.
And the majority of these stones, I don't know if they're going to be game closers, and that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, no, I think when you look at these stones and you have to not have to, but like you compare them to Thanos, because Thanos also has the Infinity Stones, and they're all 1 cost. These are also all 3-cost stones, unless, like you said, you ramp them out, or you're just using these as fodder, just like in your hand. It's just going to be interesting because not all of these either combo necessarily well with the deck you're playing, or are too, let's see, like, can counter your opponent in a sense too. Like, you have one that, like, if you fill your locations, you give one of your cards in a full location +2 power, which is this with Soul Stone. And then you also have Space Stone, which is a targeted kind of Juggernaut / Polaris kind of thing, because it's just the lowest power enemy card gets pulled to wherever Ultron was just played. Reality Stone is interesting because I bet it does the 1-cost drones. If it's not a 1-cost drone, I think that might honestly be a little bit better. It just
I think it is based off
depends. Yeah, I think it's just 1
to be fair,
cost.
Ultron says 1-cost drone, I believe, like 1/1 drone or whatever, but we don't have a confirmation there on this one.
Yeah, so that'll be okay. I think the better ones are going to be like Time Stone, Mind Stone, and I think Power Stone or the big three you're looking for, and like playing this into like I don't know, comboing with other stones, which these are the only three that kind of can combo together with like their on reveal abilities, right? So like
Yeah.
it gives you a little Wong. This one gives you just the Red Wing you were talking about too, or it's like Isan in a sense, but like you can do any card that's in your hand. So this will be one you're like, okay, I can actually play this on final turn because I have other cards in my hand that can actually give me value and stuff. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see if like you play this in a dump style list. Like maybe you're playing this in a dump style Dracula dump, and you play this out after you play your Black Swan to get all of your 1 cost out of your hand, and then you have this on the board. I don't know. It'll be just very interesting to see how this card shapes up. I think Surfer is a really good shout because they're all 3 cost. I think that's kind of where a lot of people's heads went there. But if you don't ramp this card out, would you play this over Sarah? Probably not. Would you play this over like an Ajax? I don't know. Like, it's just interesting to see exactly where this is going to go, or if this is literally just an Arishem card.
That's honestly, that's a really true statement as well. The fact that it might just be an Arishem card, unfortunately. But I think the biggest reason why I'm concerned, not concerned, but like I'm not stoked on this card, is just the fact that it doesn't do. It's not consistent in the stuff that it does, and not so much. And with Kate Bishop, it's not consistent still, but they all still, what is it? They don't require as much of an investment for you with Kate. With these, this is your final turn pretty much that you're using. And how many times am I really going to want to be throwing down that reality stone? How many times am I really going to be wanting to play the Soul Stone? There's just such a big differences with just like all these. And then, I mean, I would love to use the Mind Stone, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it consistently. And so I do think that I'm with you there in the fact that I think there's a lot of different versions of Surfer that already tried to do a lot of different things for a final turn. And some of them are even doing more than just playing Surfer now. They're just using Surfer as another potential win con. And because I think we both, at least for now, said Surfer styles of lists. I think we have different variations there. But because you're right that I think there's a good chance this is a Arishem card. I think there's a good chance that this is a card that you maybe would like to be trying. What is it? I like the Drac Dump is interesting. It's just the problem of like how many different outs are going to be enough. And I don't know if, I don't know. You have to ramp it, I feel like, in order for the card to work.
And I think it's a tough ramp too, because
it is
the way, like the main way you can ramp this card, and unless you're doing Psylocke, is you are also giving your opponent an opportunity to play some of their bigger stuff.
Yeah, you're thinking of Luna Snow?
I'm thinking of Luna Snow. I'm thinking of Wave. The only ways you can do it safely would be Electro and Psylocke, or you're playing Hope Summers with a Wasp.
Yeah. I don't...
Which Wiccan, I guess Wiccan also would be a way to kind of just have the extra energy and stuff. And then, like, Arishem, you have the extra energy, or, like, you blink something out for it, but, like, you have to ramp it, and it's not necessarily only you get the ramp. It's an opportunity for your opponent also to get the ramp, which is what makes it pretty tricky in that aspect as well.
Yeah. I mean, so do you want to talk about your list or my list here that we were thinking about for old?
Let's talk about your list first.
Yeah. What is it? So the list I was thinking for was actually using Agamotto because I felt like you wanted multiple different outs for the list. So being able to use Agamotto, Luna Snow, and Psylocke as potentially different rampers. I think it's the bolts that give you the extra energy, as well as being able to use Quinjet and those other card generators. One of the things we had done recently with Kaori, or I think you had done it, was with using Snow Guard inside of a Surfer list, because you do get those, the auras, or whatever they're called, auroras, I don't know, for Snow Guard. Those also are 3-cost cards, so you can get those benefits for them. And you also do want to fill your board, so cards like Brood and as well as Luna Snow both do technically have that type of synergy with Infinity Ultron, as well as potentially being used with what is the one guy? The Images. So lots of different options there in terms, and I don't know which ones I'm going to like most. I don't know if this is even the correct place for this list to exist at, but you just have these different options. You have these different rampers, and this made sense to me at least. And we'll find out if it actually works. Just with the Agamotto as the alt. But what are your thoughts here? And then how does it contrast to your own list?
I like the card generation aspect of this, which is just cool. So you're not just like relying on necessarily one style of like play. Like it's not super linear. So like this is really interesting. You have Fastos in here, of course, because I know how much you love Fastos.
I'm a sucker.
Galacta is just the staple 4-cost, power giving card just in any deck, and like Galacta and images is pretty much a snap every single time you have images in Galacta. So like,
and also I was gonna say with Infinity Ultron, because if you get if you get extra power into the Infinity Ultron, which is part of the reason why I have Fastos in here as well as a ramper / buffer for Infinity Ultron, but it is either one does potentially buff up Infinity Ultron and help out the drone and or the Power Stone one. Which, by the way, the drone, I read base Ultron, it just specifies 2 power drones, and those are one cost cards. So I'm going to imagine that the drone is also a 1 cost as well for this.
Okay, that makes sense. And I think you have no Shaw in here is very interesting, but I see you went more of like a tech route with Juggernaut instead, kind of just like solidify lanes, which I get. And of course you Brood drops a lot of power, and then I don't know. This is interesting. Not definitely where my head went initially with Infinity Ultron, but I like that you do have just the additional routes and different ways that Quinjet can also just give you a lot of value for the generation from Snowguard, Patriot, Agamotto, and the Infinity Stones. So that's good. And then also, like you said, having the extra energy with bolts, being able to play bolts on 3 and get Ultron out on 4, or Luna into Ultron out on 4, Fastos potentially into Ultron out on 4. You have a couple just at least different outs, and Psylocke to be able to get Ultron out on 4. So I think I like that you have different ways to do that. I went with something a little bit crazier. I've been playing some like Silver Surfer Destroyed recently. And this iteration doesn't have 5 4-costs like what I normally have been playing, but it has Sarah as well as just another potential out. Something I like in here is like the Fire Hair interaction with a lot of these cards is actually really cool. So you can do Fire Hair, and then like you get the value from Surfer potentially going off again with Misery. And then you also have Venom eating some of these cards to be able to get the Fire Hair interaction. You could potentially even do Venom into Absman. Like Absman can either be Brood, Surfer, Venom, Misery. It could be some of the stones, like using that as an out. The only like ramp I have is Luna to get Ultron out early, but I could also play Sarah out on 4 as well and play Ultron and potentially another card. Or there's just Luna Snow. I love Luna Snow right now. She's just so much fun. But like this, I didn't want to weigh too hard into the Ultron. Mine's still more into the Surfer aspect, but Fire Hair just in this style of Surfer has felt great, because like even getting just 2 additional more Broods on the board has been pretty cool, just eating a Brood with Venom. So then I'm also not full in just like every lane. I have Venom to clean up lanes or Misery to clean up lanes. Like it's really given me a couple different outs, and Zabu with Sarah just feels great being able to play some of these 4-cost cards as 2 costs. And then it just feels really fun. I'm normally just like playing Luna on like 3, sometimes 4, and then I just get rid of her Ice Cube more on turn 6 at the beginning, since then it then frees up a board slot for you. I don't know. I'm a Surfer fiend right now, and this has really been feeling great.
Fiendin'. Yeah, this is. I mean, what is it? I definitely think that Surfer. I think this is a place where a lot of people are going to go initially, and I don't know if that means that it's correct.
Yeah.
But I do think that Surfer is where a lot of people are going to go initially. Obviously, we did. We both have different versions of it. But I think that this is... I mean, there's just the fact that... the logic of it is just the fact that how do you get value out of these stones if you're playing them on turn 3? And I think that's the one that makes more sense. So I do like this right now. I don't know, who's going to be correct here, what this is actually going to look like long-term for Infinity Ultron, but I definitely think that this is going to be a very another great place for this to exist at. But obviously, this is going to be talking about with High Voltage. We do have at least one card that is confirmed, and recent data mines have suggested potentially something different as well.
Yeah.
With Dumb Dum Duggan. Is that how you say his name?
I think it's something. It's Dum Duggan or Dum Duggan. Something like that. But this card is, I think we talked about this when we were going over the cards of the season on the live yap. I mean, it's interesting. You know, it's a good card to play onto like a Captain Carter. If you guys do not know, it is a 2-cost, 3-power card. Ongoing, your front row cards here get +1 power, but you cannot add this power to Dum Dum.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is going to be better than Captain Carter.
Because you don't have to necessarily like fill a lane like you do kind of with Captain Carter to get value. You just have to have 2 cards in that lane.
Exactly. And also, it's just, isn't it the same power as Captain Carter?
So this essentially is a 2/5. Captain Carter is essentially a 4/9.
Isn't she 3 power as well? But like base though?
Yeah, same base
power. It's
yes.
have +1 power in the front. For some reason, I keep thinking that it was have this card's power. Yeah, no. I mean, okay, so it's not. Never mind, it's not as good. But it is still good. You can't do the buffing stuff you can do with Captain Carter, but it is still gonna be a very good card.
Do you think it'll work with Mysterio?
Why did you do this? Why would you talk about these things that hurt me? I've lost so many games because of Mysterio not getting buffed by Captain Carter. I don't know. Because apparently I don't like happiness. I'm gonna guess it won't work. But this is confirmed to be coming out with high voltage. And we're not going to talk about decks here for this.
We also potentially have another card releasing in high voltage this week, which honestly, if this card does release in high voltage, I think is a massive dub, which this card we're referring to is going to be Toxie Doxie, which did get changed in the OTA. And Dance was telling me that this might be the biggest change we actually had in the OTA, which makes sense because Dance loves his hand buff. So Dance, if you want to read your potentially new banger card you're adding to your list.
All right, with Toxie Doxie as a 2-cost 1 power card that says on reveal, give 2 cards in your hand +2 power. But, and this is the big difference here, so it's not just straight up a 2/5, you can't play those cards next turn. And so, obviously, those are 2 different cards here. It's not going to be the same card. So if you only have one, I'd imagine it will only buff that 1 card by 2 power, and you wouldn't be able to play that card next turn. But like you said, with hand buff, this is a card that I'm really stoked about, and I think there's a good chance could do some real good inside of a hand buff style deck because it just is a straight up buff. You play this on turn 2. I feel like oftentimes your turn 2 in that deck could be a bit awkward, but now you've got those cards. If you set this up early, you get a lot of value. The biggest thing I could see as obviously the issue is that you can't play those cards next turn. So if I've got those +2 powered cards in my hand, I can't on turn 5 misery Toxie Doxie, or else I don't get that value on the final turn. So, and to be fair as well, I'm saying all this stuff. It's not even confirmed this card's coming out. This is just what recent, like I think Brode potentially data mined and showed that this card got changed, as well as the release date for it had been changed to the 17th, which is the day that high voltage starts. So it's guessed. We don't have any proof, but this is another card that potentially is coming out with high voltage. No proof on that one way or another. This is more speculative, but there also could be the card that comes out with snapbacks, the new Series 4 card.
Yeah, no, I am actually, this card I like a lot. I think you go to hand pump, I immediately go to Surfer again. And there's a lot of times where you're just doing this, like even with Gwenpool, right? You're buffing the cards just to play on the final turn. Like here, you're playing them on turn 2. Instead of Forge, Forge, of course, is like the targeted. You're not playing a lot of Forge in Surfer right now. Anyways, you're probably playing, Iron Patriot because Iron Patriot is just Iron Patriot. But this being able to just give extra power to like a Brood getting hit by this early and then later getting hit by a Gwenpool or getting hit by a Galacta is pretty nice. Shaw getting hit by this card. You're not really playing Shaw out on curve just to, get sniped pretty much. So I really do enjoy this. And of course, I think also Agent Venom. I think this is a really cool kind of card for that. Of course, that may offset what you're trying to do with Athena stuff if you're going through the Athena route. But I think with the limitation, you can't play these cards next turn. You're playing decks around where you have different outs to be able to play on turn 3 or even turn 4 to be able to really maximize this card. And I do thoroughly enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, I like what this card's gonna be able to do. I'm stoked by this, but this is just one of the many Series 4 and 5 cards that aren't out in the game, but we do have a lot that are currently in the game that we want to actually try to break down here. We're going to go with a slightly unorthodox version of a tier list for time, so we don't spend 2 hours talking about tier list, and for two, we're going to talk about it slightly differently because we're going to try to let it be a little more broken down, try to get into some specifics because I don't think, and one of the reasons when I brought up doing a tier list this way to Tuck, I don't think you can just say this is the best card.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that and just say our favorites or whatever, but there's a lot more nuance and a lot more specifics we can talk about with these cards that I think are better to break down. This is an idea I saw from Jeff Hoagland, where you talk about just the cards that, again, you can talk about your favorites, talk about the cards that are really great, the cards that are really bad, but you give some more detail into, rather than just saying this is the B tier, the C tier, so on and so forth. These are the cards that we have, obviously the cards that we're just our favorites are buy these, but irreplaceable and strong and irreplaceable and fine mean those cards that if you would like to play this deck, this card is going to be needed. You're not going to find another card that does what this card does. If you replace this card, you will not get it's not going to be the same. But that doesn't mean that the card is straight up good. It could just be fine. Or it's strong. We're going to give those options and we can throw all the bad cards at the bottom. But then there are some cards that are very good. Like, if we're going to talk about them, I'm going to put my first candidate for a replaceable and strong card.
Okay.
I'm going to say Iron Patriot. Because Iron Patriot is a good card. But I don't believe for a moment that the card is irreplaceable. I think the card does what it does, and it's very good at it. But I don't believe that is the best card. I don't think it's even one that I want to say immediately buy now. It's replaceable. And I'd probably say it is the strongest of these replaceable and strong. And we'll probably just go with left to right for whatever, just reading like that. I don't know, does that make sense to you? Do you agree with that logic?
Yeah, I think Iron Patriot now, I think I won't argue with you for the replaceable and strong at his current stat line. I think when he was the -4 instead, there was potential and argument for him to be irreplaceable because of just the conditions and winning that condition being better. But I think this is just a very strong card, but there's other cards that can kind of do what it does.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the logic of this whole conversation here about these things. And do you want to just go with like popcorning, whatever one comes to mind, or do you want to how would you like to go with the rest of these?
I think we go in alphabetical order because I might have fun. Take me 3 minutes just to find the card here on the list.
Fair. As we're blinded by the light, starting with Agony, who I'd argue I don't think it's bad, but this is going to be, I think, towards the bottom of this replaceable and fine list.
Yes, no, I
think
Series
4.
I think Agony definitely is more of a just replaceable and fine card. I do think Annihilus is potentially a replaceable and strong too.
It's either, I'd say it's at the bottom of it, like an irreplaceable and strong, or it's just irreplaceable and fine.
I was going to say replaceable and strong.
I don't think you can replace Annihilus in an Annihilus deck.
I mean, you have Lady Deathstrike, you have Cersei, you have Viper, you have Carnage, you have Images.
Yes, but I just don't think you get. It's not an Annihilus deck anymore.
Yeah, it's not an Annihilus deck, but I think there's other cards that do what it does. In a sense,
I don't think there's any card that quite does what it does, but I'll bequest to you here. I'll let you make this judgment here on this bit. Are you saying it's better than Iron Patriot potentially?
No, I'll do lower than Iron Patriot.
I was gonna say, there you go.
My camera literally is. Oh, there we go. Nope.
It's just going to be you've got the in the window. That's pretty much all you're going to be able to deal with. Unless you want to try to move your camera while I talk about Beta Ray Bill here. Beta Ray Bill, I think there is a chance of... Is Beta... I don't know if... I think Beta Ray Bill is just... Is it irreplaceable and just kind of fine? Is that where this card exists then? Trying to think about that, but it might just be, I think the card is just, you're not yes, you can do Thor, but that's not going to work in a Thor deck. If you want to do Hammer Bros, there's a reason why Thor wasn't really a thing even before it, because you want to get more returns.
Said put some respect on the Beta Ray Bill. Beta Ray Bill is watching our video right now, and he said, "Dance, my guy."
Exactly.
Irreplaceable
and fine, you think?
Oh man, I cannot believe. Okay.
Okay, well, here, pause for a sec. Do you want to try to fix the light legit so we can actually see your face? Because I can't even see you.
I'm still visible. I'm still visible. But
Okay. Oh, you talk about why you think I'm potentially wrong there if you want to. Otherwise, we can.
so like I don't think this is a good card. Like that's just the thing. I just don't think it's a good
I don't think it's a.
card.
I don't think. I'm not saying he's good, right? That's why I'm saying. I think that's why it says fine and not good. It's just it's fine. I don't think it's busted, but I think the card is fine. Like Beta Ray Bill is putting out legit numbers in actual decks. Doesn't mean the card is great, but again, at least in Infinite, cards at least B tier according to Untapped data.
Okay, I'll say sure.
you'll be quite stiff, fair enough.
Irreplaceable and fine. We're gonna
Speaking
go
of
replaceable and fine with Black Knight. I might even put him below Agony right now, which is sad, but he's just not it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Blob is replaceable and strong.
Okay.
I think that yes, Blob is good, but if it's big numbers, that's what you do with it. And yeah, I'd argue it's right below Annihilus. That it works completely fine here.
So Cannonball. Can Cannonball be an irreplaceable and strong, but not top of it?
I really, you think it's irreplaceable? Honestly, I don't think it's irreplaceable.
I mean, there's no
Like,
card that
it's
does
Shang-Chi.
what Cannonball does.
Yes, but also it is just kind of Shang-Chi.
Well, like Shang-Chi, like yes, takes the card from the lane, but like Cannonball can move that card to a different lane to give you value elsewhere and stuff. Like it's not like Juggernaut, right? But the targeting with Cannonball is different than Shang-Chi because Shang-Chi, the card has to have at least 10 power for Shang-Chi to destroy it.
That's fair. What is it? If you gave me Beta Ray Bill on irreplaceable and fine, I'll give you Cannonball here to start us off in the irreplaceable and strong. Cold Obsidian is definitely just replaceable, and is it actually top of fine right now?
Yeah, I think replaceable and fine's okay.
I think it's just the top of the replaceable. It's fine. It's nothing crazy. It's just a one, especially since Sam Wilson got changed. I think it's just replaceable and fine. There's other 4-drops if you really need it, but irreplaceable and strong. Is that where Dakin lives, or is he? I'm gonna give a spicy take here. I think he's top of irreplaceable and fine. I don't think Dakin himself is strong.
No, it's the same Beta Ray Bill argument.
Yeah, exactly.
But like that deck
I'm
with
glad you
Dakin
agree with that,
gets crazy good value. Like I will
Right,
not
the
be
deck
wrong.
the deck can get a lot of great value, but it's irreplaceable. But it doesn't. I don't think the card itself is busted.
Yeah.
Secondary even said the best cards in that list, which is part of the reason why Bullseye didn't get hit, were MODOK and Morbius. Dakin and Bullseye weren't the top performers there, so I like the logic. But with Darkhawk, is that above Cannonball?
Yes,
Same tier?
yes. And like it may not be having crazy play right now, but there's not a card that does what Darkhawk does. And when Darkhawk is relevant in the meta, Darkhawk is strong.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's simple as that. It's just that's why this list is gonna be different than what you might be normally used to in terms of these tier lists. But in similar fashion, I think Gladiator. Where does Gladiator actually fit here?
I go irreplaceable and fine for Gladiator.
Better than Dakin then? Or
Yes.
is Dakin?
Yes. I put him better than Dakin because he can be in a larger variety of decks than Dakin.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think. But does that actually give you an argument of why it's actually more replaceable? If it's just more multi-use, more of a multi-tool, the only deck where it's really a card that you have to use is it's just in Mill. I think there's a chance this might be more replaceable.
Well, Mill, Surfer, you can even use it like Thanos Destroy. Like it's more replaceable than Thanos Destroy, but like if it's
also more replaceable
replaceable,
in
it's
Surfer.
replaceable and strong, but not replaceable and fine.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm fine with that. Yeah, it's a good card. Right? It's a 3/8.
Yeah.
And that's we're not saying these cards aren't good when we're saying they're replaceable. But if you need if you're looking at this list and being like, okay, what do I really want? The ones that are irreplaceable, if that's the type of list that you want, we're gonna say try to hit those cards. If it's a list that you maybe don't enjoy as much, or maybe whatever, or maybe it's a list you still do enjoy, but it has these replaceable but stronger cards or fine cards, don't sweat it.
Yeah.
That's I think the logic we're going with here. But Grandmaster, I'd argue this is an irreplaceable and fine card.
I don't think he's necessarily a necessity card in any of these like combo decks.
No, but also I think that when you try to use him, like, what other card are you going to get that on reveal with?
I mean, what other card are you going to get the Gladiator on reveal with?
Well, it's just a big. I count it. I think more there for the other decks and big stats, but that's fair. Where do you think this card? Where do you think Grandmaster exists?
I think he's replaceable and strong. I'll put him above Blob and Annihilus, potentially above.
I'd above Gladiator. Yeah, that's it. I agree with that. I'd say Hitmonkey is current. I hate to do this. I think this is the bottom of the irreplaceable and fine right now.
I think he's better than
You
Black
can't
Knight.
not. No, irreplaceable and fine. I think.
Oh, irreplaceable and fine.
You can't because you can't.
Yeah.
If you don't have Hitmonkey, there's no sub.
Because you say Sage, but Sage is different. Sage is not the same thing as a Hitmonkey.
No, you're playing you're not doing the same logic here. Although if we're talking about replaceable and fine, I think this is where Ironlight fits.
Yeah. And I think
Ironlight is Agony better than Ironlight? Is that what you think?
At least Agony, you know what card's going to get the power.
That's fair. I think there's gonna be some logic there. Urania, I think this is a replaceable and strong card. I think this card goes. Is it better than Grandmaster? Probably. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Let us know, by the way, at the end of this. We'll say it again, but let us know what you think, because I'm already seeing. I can see some arguments here inside of this stuff. King Eitri is.
There's actually hold on.
This is
I'm thinking with Urania. There's no other card that can move. Like, I mean, there's cards that can move cards to the right, but like the move to the right function is really solid. I'm trying to think. Like, I agree. I think a replaceable and strong is like one of the more logical reasoning. So I'm trying to think like
I don't think it's irreplaceable.
It's not irreplaceable, but it is strong. I think it's still strong either way.
Yeah. I think it's a strong card. It's just another movement enabler.
Yeah.
If you want every single movement enabler in a single deck, yeah, you can do that, and that's a different conversation. But I think if it's just the card itself, it is replaceable. There are other cards that will fill that role.
Yeah.
That Urania will try to be. I don't think there's a role that King Eitri, I don't know if there's a card that really fills his role. The closest one maybe is like Adam Warlock, but like I think this is replaceable, and I think it's next to Beta Ray Bill.
Irreplaceable and fine. Because it's another out for like this style of deck.
Exactly. It's an out for that style of deck. It does also work with like Agamotto, as we saw from last month.
Thanos, Loki.
A lot more so. Right? Like it gives you, it is a draw card that it's not bad stats. It just is a free draw card when you need it. And there's you're not going to get a card that does that. Yeah,
I think that's fair. Elsa is going to be, oh man.
I'm going to be sad about this. I know I'm going to be sad about Elsa Bloodstone here.
She's not bad, but I think she's replaceable and fine.
Yeah. I think she's above Agony currently.
Above Agony, she does well, but there's so many other cards. Like, you can just play Gwenpool, or not Gwenpool, you can play Galacta, and like you get that consistency at least 2 times, opposed to having to fill the location to be able to get the Elsa value.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Is Lasher the first one we put in bad? Or is he like replaceable and fine? What do you think?
Even though I got absolutely waxed by Lasher yesterday, I think he is.
I'm sorry, what?
Great.
No. Say that again.
I got absolutely waxed.
Okay,
Lasher.
Never mind. All right, I didn't need you to say it. I didn't need you to say it again. Never mind. Yeah, I think it's a shame that I would say that he'd be bad, but like it's just card isn't great.
Yeah. Yeah,
but
a lot of work to be able to do the Lasher stuff.
That's the biggest thing. It's just so much work. It's such a big combo heavy card. And there's a couple other cards that are going to be similar to Lasher. One of them, though, is not Loki. Loki, I think it's irreplaceable.
But fine right now.
Right? You can't. Yeah, it's fine. I think Right there, yeah, above Hit Monkey, but like after the Hammer Bros stuff. I like that. I like this stuff.
Legion. So like,
The argument here, and this is, I don't know what you're gonna say. I'll let you finish whatever you're gonna say. While there is not a card that does exactly what Legion does, and that's, again, there aren't another card that really do exactly what a lot of these cards do. But does that mean if I have a Legion, I have to have Legion? If I have Legion in a deck, if I take it out and put something else in there, it will not work. That's my logic here.
so I think he's replaceable and strong because location, just like control and being able to change 2 locations, I think is very strong.
And knowing what you're going to change them into is also really great. I'd say he's above Blob, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think he's above Annihilus because I think that is it's better there, but yeah.
One is more archetype defining overall than the other.
Oh, see, that's why I pushed for him to be irreplaceable. But anyway, what? Man Thing. Replaceable and fine, I think.
He's pretty strong with Luke Cage being down in play right now.
True. I could see some arguments there. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, just above Blob. Maybe it's supposed to be above other stuff, but I think I'm fine with that for now. I'm hurt, but I don't disagree with you.
No, I'll do that. Magic Mike.
What? Oh, Meek. Gosh, it threw me off there so heavily. I don't think Meek is replaceable.
No, I think Meek. Honestly, if looking at the Dawkins style stuff too, Meek's pretty strong, but
I think he's the bottom of this. I think he's bottom of strong.
Bottom of irreplaceable and strong. Freaking, that's so funny. Like, actually, so funny to see where he's at.
What do you swap for him? Morbius. You're already running Morbius. Like, it doesn't make sense what you're supposed to swap there.
Yeah, collector, but
you're running that. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Who's the next one? I can't see these anymore.
We have Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is, yeah, she is just for like it used to be a Miss Marvel style deck, but it's not the same anymore. You take it out, you can do other stuff. It's you'll be okay. Faustos, whatever you call him. Is he below? I think he's below Iron Lad. I like him, but
yeah. Phoenix Force.
Yeah. I think that's irreplaceable, and I don't know if it's strong.
Right now, I wouldn't say it's strong, but I do think it is above Hitmonkey.
I think it's better than Loki. I'd say it's better than Loki there, but otherwise, I won't argue.
Okay. Pixie.
Irreplaceable, and honestly, I'd argue this is better than Beta Ray. I don't know if I'd say it's better than Dakin.
No.
Yeah.
Corvus.
Corvus Glaive it's replaceable and is it strong or is it just fine? I think it's fine. Is it? I'd say it's like around the Elsa. It's somewhere on the other side of Elsa, I think. I don't know which one.
Ravonna.
This is one of the few that I might even say I might even want to put him by now. Like buy these. Like this card is just it's such a good tool. Like this is a card that this is what I would put as irreplaceable and strong potentially. Maybe that's fine there. But like
let's put her top irreplaceable and strong.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, top irreplaceable and strong. Sasquatch.
I think this is bottom of irreplaceable and fine. Like I guess maybe is Mockingbird enough of a replacement, or is that like?
Oh, different. Apples.
I don't think so.
Because they're different styles.
Yeah.
I mean they play in similar decks or in the same deck, but their ability functionality is different.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sebastian Shaw.
Shaw is going to be replaceable and strong.
You think he is replaceable?
Yes. I mean, look at your surfer list. You don't have Shaw in there.
Yeah, checkmate, Your Honor. Replaceable and strong. Is this? Yeah, it's better than Grandmaster. You're right there.
Yeah. Scar, which is a 7-11 now.
Yeah, the stats are slightly different from what we see on screen. Scar. This is, I'd argue, This is irreplaceable. I think this is bottom of irreplaceable. No, it's Meek is better. Meek and Cannonball are better than this, actually. I'd say both of those are better here.
Yeah, irreplaceable and strong.
Yeah. Do you think it's better or worse than Meek and Cannonball? I think it should go on the other side of them.
Oh, better. Okay. What I heard is that you said that it's not as good as those. So that's
my
what
apologies.
I heard.
Well,
Okay.
that's why you clarify.
Okay.
Anyway,
Suki.
we have the new bottom of the list.
You think Supergiant is the worst card right now?
Nope, but it's the new bottom for now.
You know, it's gonna be really
Until we
interesting.
get to
if people are not ramping out Infinity Ultron and they're trying to play a lot of Infinity Ultron, this card immediately shuts down Infinity Ultron, which is funny. But that's
why would you say these things?
That's
Why
just-
would you say these things?
Don't do that, guys. Okay, just a sidebar. Just a sidebar.
So how dare you?
Or you're playing against ramp shells in Conquest, so you use Zabu and get Supergiant out on 3 instead, so they can't do Infinity Ultron. But all right, and then we have Living Tribunal.
Living Tribunal. You're rude. You're a rude person here. This is irreplaceable, I think. Living Tribunal decks, you would need a Living Tribunal for Living Tribunal to work.
Irreplaceable and fun.
Yeah, definitely. This is... Honestly, is this the top of... I don't know if it's top of. It's
above
close, if not
Pixie.
top. I don't know if it's better than Dakin, but I like that, at least, yeah.
Valentina. Replaceable and strong.
This... Replaceable and strong. This is, I'd say, below Gladiator, I think
Okay.
is where it goes.
You have him above an
in
Eyeless?
this list. I think it's above an Eyeless.
Okay.
I think you just because again Luke Cage just fixes your problems.
Okay. Werewolf by Night.
This is replaceable and fine. I think it's not. I don't
Top
even know
of
if it is
replaceable
technically
and
fine.
fine.
You think it's top of replaceable and fine?
More than Cole, more than Corvus, Elsa, Agony, Miss Marvel, Iron Lad, Fastest, Black Knight. Yeah.
These things you say, they're so true, but they hurt me.
X-23.
Irreplaceable and strong.
Above Cannonball.
I was gonna say before or after Scar. I like that.
Yep. Okay, we are now
Yeah.
on to Series 5 cards.
Yeah. So for what it's worth, if just saying in this, if you're looking at the Series 4 cards that you potentially do want, and maybe some of these belong in the buy these immediately, but like these are the cards that if you would like to play a deck that runs Ravonna, runs Darkhawk, runs Scar, runs X-23, runs Cannonball, and Meek, those cards are irreplaceable. Those are the ones I would say most are like, get those. And Dakin is just barely edged out. I think that irreplaceable strong because he has exactly one deck that he works in. Meek still works more.
Yeah, that's exactly like classic discard opposed to Bullseye discard.
Exactly the logic. Yeah. So going on to the rest of these Series 5 cards we still have in the game right now. Agent Venom. This is irreplaceable.
And fine.
And I think it's bottom of strong.
Okay. I won't argue.
Because it just it is slightly better. And Ajax is going up there as well, I think. But he is
So I might have Ajax as a buy now. It's a style specific of like you have to like enjoy Affliction, but for what he does,
I'll bequest to Ajax. I'll bequest it. Yeah. All right, you got me there. That's good. That's a fair logic. I think if it was the option, I do think it would be in the irreplaceable and strong. I don't know if it's top of irreplaceable and strong. I wouldn't give it that, but I do like the logic of it being a buy these. In the buy these category. Yeah.
Eliath is replaceable and strong? Question mark right now?
Yeah, I'd agree. This might be top of replaceable and strong.
Yeah, I agree.
It's wild that we're saying that, right? But like, if you don't have Eliath, there are other options you can use. We're not saying the card isn't good. It's in the strong category, but there are other things that will give you the functionality that you want from Eliath.
This is not a tier list of our ranking of cards in the game. It's what we would spend our resources on.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what we're doing this list for here. So it is a tier list. It's just different. And I'm specifying that again here because this is a different enough tier list, and I think it makes sense. And honestly, I think Anti-Venom is irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable and strong?
Ooh, it's like bottom of strong, potentially, I think, yeah.
I have him above Agent Venom.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah. You know what? Better than Meek.
Okay.
Yeah. could be better than Cannonball. It could be argued there, but I'll let you choose between that. I think it's in that group. Ares is replaceable and strong.
Yes.
If you don't have Ares, you're fine. I think it's better than this is, in my opinion, near. Like, yeah, it's in that top area. It's within that realm of the cards. I mean, Erishim is irreplaceable. It even if we don't like it, it is irreplaceable. I don't even know if I would say this is a buy now immediately, but like, where are you thinking here? I think
Top
it's definitely
of irreplaceable and fine.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It is fine. I don't like it still, but it is fine. And this is another. I think Baron Zemo is another irreplaceable and probably fine.
Just because there's not really another card that does what he does is what you're thinking.
There's nothing else. Like, Mill was made because of Baron Zemo. No other card could make that deck. I think this is in between Tribunal and Pixie.
Okay. Which also we're not saying
like
we're not saying Mill is good. Okay, we're not saying that right now. But we're just looking at like what Baron Zemo does. Yeah.
That's why, like, again, and I don't know. We'll defend this. We'll defend the style of this list 19 times in a row, but I still like the ideas here. Black Swan is irreplaceable and fine, I think. And that's what I think a lot of these Series 5 cards might get into this irreplaceable section here. But you think better than Living Tribunal? I might say I would say Tribunal. I think Tribunal's slightly above it. I don't know. Otherwise, I'd agree right in that area.
I'm putting it above Tribunal.
All right. I won't push it. Blink.
There's nothing that does what Blink does.
I know there isn't anything that does one for
but
one.
It's
Blink
more
does.
niche.
I think it's replaceable and strong.
Yeah, it's like the same Annihilus argument in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, yeah, I like that. Put it right near the Annihilus area. I'll let you choose where. Again, that's not to say it's not bad, right? It's replaceable. If you don't have Blink, you can figure it out. You'll be fine. Bruce Banner.
Okay,
Bullseye. Is he bad? Is he actually bad? No, is he actually bad? Don't tell me that.
Bullseye?
No, don't tell me Brucey's still. Brucey's in B tier.
Yeah. Okay, good for Brucey. All right, so moving on.
Put him in replaceable and fine. No, there's no way that he. I refuse to acknowledge. No, I refuse that he is worse than Lasher. All right, so where did you say you're putting Bullseye?
So Bullseye. So like,
it's definitely irreplaceable, but do you know? Oh, well, hold up. No, he bit his lip right there. Do you disagree?
No. I'm wavering between irreplaceable and strong and buy these.
I don't think it's buy these. It's not buy these. I disagree on buy these. Like, I'll give you Ajax. I don't think I'm gonna say Bullseye is buy these now. Yes, if you want discard, I think you put it up to the top of this area to show that if you want to like play discard, it is this style of deck. But I do not believe that this is a card that like should be top of the list. I'm actually saying Ravonna should go into buy these, and you put Bullseye as top of irreplaceable and strong.
Okay.
I'll give you top of irreplaceable and strong, but I don't think that's a buy these here.
Okay. This is so, like you said, specific. If you love,
it's so
discard.
Specific. That's why.
But
that's
different.
Like
again, like you love, whatchamacallit?
Like
you can play Ajax on any turn. Bullseye, you have to play before final turn.
And I will say as well,
same with the Ravonna.
It's the fact that Bullseye is it's one specific, and I know the fact that these are going to be like metas may change, opinions may change in terms of how strong these cards may or may not be, but trying to give at least a little bit of future proofing. If Bullseye stays the exact same way he is forever, I might even agree with you on buy these, but. Yeah. I think there's a good chance that the Bullseye deck gets hit in a way enough so that he is still going to be irreplaceable and strong, but just not enough that I'll be like, get this now.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyra is replaceable and fine.
Yeah, she's near Miss Marvel, I think.
I'm up Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Cassandra Nova this is replaceable and strong. This is not irreplaceable. Like, you can do other things with Cassandra Nova.
I mean, you don't have another card that can hit the entire deck.
No, but they're off. This isn't even being played a lot inside of those Darkhawk lists still anymore, is she?
I mean, Darkhawk's just not getting played right now.
You're
playing this in Affliction. You're playing her in some of these Surfer Fire Hair shells.
But like all of those, you can still replace her with another card and get the value that you would try to get from her.
I mean, you do not. There's no other card that gets the same exact value as Cassandra Nova.
The same
Cassandra
exact,
Nova
but
is a 3/12 in 1 turn.
Where are you trying to put her?
I would put her either in irreplaceable and fine or irreplaceable and strong. Like, I wouldn't put her in
I'll give you fine. I'm not
irreplaceable.
giving you. I don't think I'm going to give you the strongest.
I'm putting her above Dakin.
Okay. What is it? I won't argue too much against that. I'll live with that.
Copycat.
Copycat. This might be one of the near the top of replaceable and strong. I think. I don't think it's irreplaceable. Yes, a card. You're not going to get the exact value with Copycat, but if you don't have Copycat, you can do another card and you'll be fine. Copycat literally does a bunch of different things. It's replaceable, I think, in and of itself. That doesn't mean it's not good.
You think it's replaceable and strong?
Yeah, like
near
the top of
I thought you said irreplaceable and strong. I was like,
I'll try to enunciate more. But
okay.
Yeah.
Doom 2099 is there's not another card that does what he does. It's not strong anymore though. I think he's irreplaceable and fine now.
I'd agree with that. I think it is irreplaceable, and then I think it's I think right there. Right. Yeah, that's where it is. That after Dakin before Black Swan is where Doom 2099 currently exists.
Fenris
Wolf. Here's the thing. I know that if you don't have Fenris, right, like you can do the mill and destroy package. I don't think you need this. I don't think you need Fenris in the deck for the deck to be good. I think if you replace it, it'll be fine. I think this is, near the top of replaceable and fine. Frigga, this is, I would argue this is strong. Do you think this is irreplaceable or replaceable? Because I really am uncertain. I've been thinking.
I think it's irreplaceable and strong.
Frigga is the one card that I looked at through all these, and I'm like, I don't know if this is, or like where. You know what? I might even put her in a buy these. Right? You see the logic of me wanting to put her in buy these.
I don't think she's a buy these. She gets so much more value because of this.
Here's the thing. I'm not saying she's top of irreplaceable and strong, but I'm saying there's a lot of decks that use her and use her really effectively that want to have her, like Move Bounce, Victoria Hand Stuff, Bullseye Discard. Those are just the first three. I convinced myself into that as well, so sure.
Next, we have.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. Yes, Galacta's amazing right now, but I don't know if she's going to stay that way, and that's what I'm concerned about.
So, I mean, if we're having that logic, for almost any card on this list, we have to put an asterisk by. Galacta of any card we put on this list is the most buy now card.
Yeah, this is, I would argue, for what it's worth, if we put it in a different place, I say this is the top of replaceable and strong. I think she is replaceable, but she gives you but she works amazingly. No other card does exactly that. But if I have Gwenpool, if I have, honestly, Kaori instead, I can still get value.
But they're not the same.
It's not the same, but it's
similar,
it's okay
but
replacement.
Like literally, this card is boom. This next card I play automatically is getting +3. Galacta and like Kahori, I'm like, okay, well maybe it'll trickle onto this card. If this is the only card on the board, Kahori only has this card. If this is the only card in my hand, then Gwenpool has this card. Like the other ones have the on reveal that give them a potentially higher ceiling in that single turn, whereas Galacta being a multi-functional turn interaction, I think is what puts her over the top.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'm still saying that I would put her in replaceable, but I do think that you're correct in the buy these.
Okay.
Just saying that.
Galactus.
My final pick. Galactus is, I think he's irreplaceable, but probably fine.
Yes.
Where in that fine? I know. I think he's irreplaceable. I don't like if I'm playing a Galactus deck, I have to have Galactus in there. It doesn't work anymore if I don't have Galactus. Better than Tribunal. God.
I guess I'm putting the fun factor ahead. Maybe it's.
I'll put it above Tribunal for fun. Sure, I'm down.
For the fun factor.
For fun. For you, not your opponent. Your opponent hates it.
Yeah. Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh is. I don't think it's a replaceable card. I think it is irreplaceable. I think you're correct, and I think bottom of strong.
Okay, I'm here for it. Gore.
Yeah, I like. This is replaceable and strong, I think. If I don't have Gore,
Top of replaceable.
then I'll be. Yeah. Again, the card's great. The card's good. But that does not mean that this is not a replaceable. If I didn't have the Gore, I can do something different. I'd say that Gwenpool is probably, honestly, right before Copycat. I think Gore is actually still gives you a little bit more there.
Okay.
Replaceable and strong as well. That is irreplaceable. Like, you cannot do a high Evo deck without high Evo.
Irreplaceable and fine.
Yeah. I like that. So after in the Black Swan area, Doom 2099. Sure, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hope Summers.
Hopes. This is replaceable and strong, I think. Like, if she's an energy ramper, and if you don't have her, I can. We have Luna Snow. We've got what is it? We've got the, what am I thinking of? Like, who's the face?
But this is
Luna
like the only energy ramper that can get multiple energy procs on the same turn.
Where are you thinking of putting her?
I'm thinking more irreplaceable and fine. Not necessarily irreplaceable and strong. I mean, there's an argument for irreplaceable and strong right under like Gilgamesh.
I was about to say no, but I could see the logic there.
Behind Gilgamesh, I like.
I feel like it is more replaceable than you're giving it credit for, but I'll take it anyway.
And I'm also
Emperor
thinking
Hulkling.
like so the only other ramp card, like we talked about this earlier, that doesn't benefit your opponent would be like Psylocke. Because Electro still you're limiting your card draw with Electro, whereas with Wave, with Luna, you are giving your opponents that same exact opportunity to play something out early. So that's why I have hope there. Hulkling, I don't think Hulkling is bad. I think he's replaceable and fine.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he is. I think he's near the bottom of this list, though. I think he's, and I'm sorry to do this to you. I think the only card he's worse than. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think he's there. Hydra Bob is replaceable and strong. Yeah, I'd argue. Is it? I put it right above Iron Patriot right now, especially with the change to Iron Patriot. I think it's just right above it.
Okay.
Jeff is. This might be top of replaceable and fine.
Yes, I agree. Joaquin is also a 2/2 now, not 3/4.
Yeah, I think he can squeeze right between Bruce and Lasher.
Okay.
He's bad. He's still bad. Kang, unfortunately, is at the bottom. Kate, I'd say this is close to irreplaceable. This might be. Where would you think? What are you thinking about her?
Either above Dawkin or below Dawkin. She is, I don't know, just for what she does.
I kind of want her closer to irreplaceable and strong. I'm
Above.
thinking right above Agent Venom.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. Luna Snow, this is replaceable and strong.
Yes.
This is, I'd say above Aranya. It's the only difference.
Try it. Okay. Madam Web.
We'll try. This is irreplaceable, I think. I think Madam Web is different than Aranya in just the fact that it is
strong.
that.
And the idea, like, you can choose between two different lanes and stuff. Like, I think...
Between Gilgamesh and Hope?
I think she's better than Meek and Kate Bishop. And Cannonball.
Sure. I'll give you it. I'm down. I'm fine with that.
Makari.
Makari? Replaceable and fine.
Above Kyra.
I think it's better than Elsa. I'd put it above Elsa.
Okay. Malekith.
Replaceable and... This might be bottom of replaceable and strong, actually.
Better than Blob.
Sure. I'll give you that.
Marvel Boy.
This might be bottom of irreplaceable and fine.
Yes. Or, yeah. Misery.
You know, Sasquatch is worse. Sasquatch is worse. Sasquatch is worse. I'll give you that. Misery. This is replaceable and strong. Irreplaceable and strong, I think.
Above Cannonball.
Yeah, I like the above Cannonball here. Especially with Fire Hair, as well as just the amount of, like, a thing of the Hammer Bros deck, which does a lot of stuff there. This is, I think, that right where that exists.
Yeah, I think the flexibility of Misery, like, even in, like, there's so many just different aspects of this card, and I think with the introduction of Fire Hair really enabled it to kind of just do even more than what it was doing originally. Like, of course, you'd seen it in Mill and stuff as well, and like we've been talking about, of course, you know, we don't like Mill, but like the aspect of what Misery can do just to enable different old styles of decks, right? So like just having that destroy element, as well as you saw like the old Black Widow iteration of the deck itself too, with like Darkhawk.
Yeah.
It's toxic, some of the stuff it does, but also cool. So yeah,
Yeah, I think
Misery
it's...
there.
Yeah, I like the logic here. Who's the next one we got?
The next one we have is going to be Mockingbird, which I have Mockingbird as
This
a
is
buy
irreplaceable.
these. I think it's a buy these.
You buy these? I like the logic. Yeah, I like to buy these. Yeah.
Just because, like, what Mockingbird does, no other card does. The flexibility of this card, like, it's like, oh, well, and there is the logic, of course. I mean, maybe I don't need Mockingbird in here, but, like, you just get so much value every single time you have this pretty much in a list, and you don't necessarily have to build around this because you have locations that help you with this as well.
Yeah. I like the logic here.
Moonstone.
This is... I'd argue this is irreplaceable. I've got a buddy I know for a fact. Like, I'm gonna use a reference. He doesn't have Moonstone, but he's been playing a lot of ongoing, and he has struggled. Just straight, like it's been a struggle for him because he doesn't have that. And I'd be like, this is just a... I think this is irreplaceable and fine, not strong, but like if you don't have it, there's not a card you're gonna get that will serve the role that Moonstone does.
Is it dock into?
I think it's... Yeah, I like the idea around Dawkin.
Above Doom 29.9, below Dawkin.
Yeah, I like that.
Namora.
Namora...
Replaceable and fine. I don't think she's bad.
She's not... She's in the lower half of this replaceable and fine, but I'd agree with you.
Better than Miss Marvel.
I think worse right now. Ms.
But
Marvel's
above
getting more
Iron
use
Man?
case than her. Yeah.
Nico.
This is... I'd argue... Oh, this might even be top of like is it irreplaceable? Is like replace like this is a card that like a lot of decks use, but I also don't know if it means that you have to use it.
So like we have heavy bias on Nico, but I don't think we necessarily can make her a buy now.
I agree, but I also don't know if I want to say that she's irreplaceable. And that's right. Like, yes, she is really good. She's a multi-tool, but like, if I didn't have Nico, I feel like there's a lot of... I think this is potentially top of replaceable and strong. Maybe.
I like that. I feel like this isn't a card like, oh, you don't have Nico, you can't play this deck. Like, it's like Nico adds extra flavor and makes that deck potentially better, but it isn't like if you don't have Nico, you can't play this at all kind of thing. Yeah.
100. That's exactly where I think, yeah.
Nocturne's replaceable and fine now.
Yeah, she's replaceable and fine. I think she's sitting next to Festus right now. Penny Parker is... I forgot about Penny, actually.
Penny is either bad or replaceable and fine.
She's bottom replaceable and fine, I think, actually.
Yeah. Proxima, replaceable and fine.
Strong.
Well,
I'd argue strong because it's just so good.
So, if this style of discard was still the style that was really popping off right now, I would waver the strong. I think she's borderline bottom of strong, top of fine, but I'm wavering more top of fine over Jeff.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, I like that logic.
Red Guardian, I think, is going to be...
I don't think he's irreplaceable.
He's not necessarily replaceable. With all the ongoing going around, you're able to just do more Enchantress stuff, opposed to there's being one ongoing card. So I think he's going to be replaceable, but strong. I still think he's strong.
I think he's sitting around I think he's sitting around the Eliath Hydra Bob area. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And what is it? You've got your... This is, I think, probably... He's probably sitting in... I think he's sitting right next to Valentina, maybe, or something like that. I think he's replaceable and strong, but he's just... like you don't. If I don't have him, you can make do with something
Yep.
something else. But also, you do like it.
Rocket and Groot.
So they recently also got changed to be a 3/2.
Right.
And that was in the OTA. As a 3/2 still, they are. Oh god, they're replaceable. They probably are just replaceable and strong.
I
think.
put him above Copycat.
I think below Copycat. I think Copycat's still. You know what? Yeah, you're right. Actually, I'll agree with you. Yeah.
Red Wing. Honestly, Red Wing is not necessarily. If we're gonna go off the stats,
It's not replaceable. I don't think. And I'm not saying it's good, but I'm not saying it's. I don't think it's replaceable.
That's true.
What are you going to replace Red Wing with?
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, that's why I like this style of the list. I think he's right. It's right behind Sasquatch. Right? Like I don't think it's bad
either
right
irreplaceable and fine, or it is bad. Like it's
I agree.
wavering that line so much. It is hard just to be like bad. I don't know. It's
yeah, exactly. That's what I don't want to say like no bad, but also like I don't know. Fine feels too good for it, but still we'll live. Sage is replaceable and strong. I think that's where she exists. Is that fair?
Yeah, I put her above Shaw.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Actually, you know what? I think she's better than Luna as well, for what it's worth. But
you can do above Luna. I'm fine with that. So like, Sam Wilson here is Sam Wilson still just by these like?
yeah, it's so good, bro. I don't get it. Sam Wilson, he is irreplaceable and strong. He is irreplaceable and strong, I would say, but also I think that he does fit in the buy these. Okay. Like I'm trying to specify where these cards fit if they are because the buy these has like that asterisk there. Anyway, Scarlet Spider is replaceable and fine, I think. I know you're throwing bad. I don't think I can do that to Scarlet Spider.
Scorn is more.
Is that replace? Oh, is Scorn replaceable? It's a hard question. You right?
So like, it's not the same as Meek, but it can scale as much as Meek, if not more.
I think you put this above Meek, and then those two should sit next to each other.
Yeah. Okay. Scream. I'm gonna. It's not replaceable. Scream is not replaceable.
No. I don't think this is by now, but I do think this is irreplaceable and strong.
I'm gonna put a top.
I do not believe
and strong. I'm gonna put it above Frigga.
I think Frigga's more irreplaceable, honestly. But just because here's the thing, I get it. Right now, in this current meta, Scream is really, really strong. But if I'm looking at like what I don't know, Frigga has that staying power to me more so. I think,
I'll
but
put
that's
it, I'll
my
put it
logic.
above Bullseye.
I definitely think it's above Bullseye. I'm just arguing. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff I can do there. Is replaceable and fine, I think. Same logic with like using Lady Deathstrike. You can use Annihilus. It's that type of stuff there.
Yeah.
I don't hate it wherever you're. Yeah.
Silver Sable. Oh my gosh, this card used to be top of the line, peak Epsilon. I think now is a replaceable and fine, and like above.
I'd say it's still. I'd say it's actually above strong. I think it's still in strong, like bottom of strong. But like the card does still do its job very well. Like it works for the affliction list. It works in bounce still. I'd say that this is
with less Agamotto play. I can see your argument more, but I don't think it's crazy high up in here. I think it's
no, definitely not. I would argue like it's in these last few cards in replaceable and strong. I'll let you choose wherever in particular.
Better than Blob. Speed is replaceable and fine because Goliath exists.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. Actually, this is I think top of replaceable and fine with speed. Like this, just like it's just a generically good card for this list or just wherever you.
I'm gonna put him below Proxima still.
All right.
Surtur is.
If we're going by alphabetical, I think or maybe it missed it. We'll get to it. All right. Surtur is irreplaceable. I think in a Surtur deck, Surtur is irreplaceable.
Irreplaceable and fine though. He's not as strong as he was.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's. Is he sitting between Airshim and Cassie?
I'm here for it.
Yeah. There you go. Who we got? Who got next here? Not just Valk.
We have hello.
Aw. Symbiote Spider-Man is it replaceable and fine, I guess?
Top
Or is it bad? Like, it's replaceable fine or bad, I feel like. I don't know.
of bad.
I think it's top of bad.
Top of bad.
I'll give it to you. Yeah.
Thaddeus Ross, I am also putting. Now it's top of. I don't know.
He's replaceable. I think I'm not gonna make you do that to him. I'll put him in replaceable. I think he's honestly. I'd say Penny's still worse.
Okay. Valkyrie, chill.
I'll throw you solid there. You're welcome.
Thena is
Thena.
irreplaceable and I think strong, honestly, in this meta still.
I could see the logic. Yeah. Is she? Put her next to Age of Venom. I'd say she's right after.
Since he affects the entire deck, where she just is.
Yeah. She is a great ramper, but like.
Yeah. Okay. Toxin is replaceable and strong.
I'd argue fine. I think he's more. Oh, to be fair, we have Blob in replaceable and strong.
Yes, that's
More
what
so.
I'm thinking. We have Toxin here too.
Yeah. If Blob. is in
Actually,
there,
okay,
I
we
think
did need a
Toxin-
blue. I think we do need to move Blob to find them.
But the problem is, if we move him to Vine, I think he goes all the way after Jeff.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Hear me out. He goes below Werewolf.
I don't even hate that.
And
I'll let you choose.
Below Werewolf, and I think Cersei needs to go.
Yeah, there might be a couple spots in these individual ranks, just because we don't want to take forever on that bit. That you might be slightly wrong. Be like, why in the world would you say that Namora is better than Iron Lad? I don't know, something like that. Just I don't know if we're going to be saying that as strongly, but anyway. U.S. Agent. Where are you thinking U.S. Agent goes?
Replaceable and fine.
This is potentially top of replaceable and fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Top of replaceable and fine. What the? Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna ask this. Thanos isn't in here.
I'll add Thanos in real quick. While we talk about
Victoria Hand. I think that's an as we talk about Victoria Hand here. Think Victoria Hand is irreplaceable. But
Okay.
I also think that is she strong or is she just fine?
I think she's strong still.
Okay. Yeah, I could see the logic. Victoria Hand going below. She's above. I'd say she's above Kate. Is my argument here. I think Cannibal is too high in this list. I think Cannibal needs to go way lower. But, yeah, I like that.
Let's do that.
As you pull up Thanos here. I mean, Thanos, I'm going to say, by the way, I think he is irreplaceable and fine, and I think he's the buy now.
You think irreplaceable and fine? You think Thanos is by now? Okay, yeah.
He is completely irreplaceable, but also, like, I'm going to be honest, there's a little bit of the fun factor that goes into that because it's like, it's fun playing Thanos.
Yeah.
And Thanos, he always comes back. It's a Mad Titan. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
I think the guy is just this is a card. If I'm going to talk about like a definitive, I think Marvel Snap deck, honestly, I think Thanos is a great example of it. Just like this, if I play this Thanos pile, I feel like I'm playing this feels like a Marvel deck, a Marvel Snap game. And I think that is just so definitive. Just put him at I'd say probably bottom of the buy now group, but like he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That's all I have on him.
Next we have War Machine. Irreplaceable and fine.
Yeah, this is he near I think he's below you thinking I think he's still worse, honestly. I'd put him all the way around Phoenix Force.
He's better than Phoenix Force though.
I'll give
Or
you that.
above Phoenix Force.
Sure.
White Widow.
God, when do they need to change her? But
Bad.
I don't want to say she's bad.
No, White Widow is bad. I'm sorry. White Widow is just bad.
It's fine. Whenever we revisit this list, she'll be better. Wiccan is irreplaceable and strong.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he sits. Is he sit that far? Yeah. You know what? I don't agree. I don't disagree. I like that logic. Yeah.
Then we have Diamondback, which is replaceable and strong.
And fine. I'd say
Fine.
I'd argue closer to fine.
She's
I don't
better
think it's
than-
top of the list.
She's better than U.S. Agent, though.
You think she's better than U.S. Agent? I don't. I see U.S. Agent being used in just more decks than her. I think she is. I put her below Proxima, and I'm happy.
Above
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben is.
What are you gonna say on this? Because you joked on me liking Uncle Ben.
Oh, well,
in the last month.
he's meta relevant now.
Oh, there you go. See, the guy's like, yeah, he's meta relevant now. Now he's great.
But
He
he's
is
replaceable
definitely.
and fine.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he sits near Werewolf.
Mm-hmm. So I have Blob
Yeah.
way too high.
We keep moving Blob further down. At one point, he was strong.
He got that text removed, so he can actually be moved now.
Yeah, there you go.
Um,
Now he just likes to eat. Num num. He can't be. He can be moved.
Laufey
Replaceable and fine.
is replaceable fine.
Right above Blob, I think.
Right above Blob. Gorgon.
This is here's the thing. There's no other card that does this, but it's also you don't. If you take Gorgon out of the deck, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, replaceable and fine.
I think this is. Is he? I think he's in near Jeff.
Yeah.
I'll let you choose exactly where. Agamotto is
Agamotto.
irreplaceable, but
Fine.
fine. I actually think this is like he's above Hitmonkey, I think.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
There you go. Getting us over to Isan. Isan is I think it's still irreplaceable, but it's also fine. I don't know.
Above Red Wing.
It's not worse. Yeah, it's above Red Wing, but definitely not worse than Red Wing.
Starbrand.
Replaceable and strong.
Replaceable and strong, and above Ares.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Above Shaw too, I think, for what's worth.
That's true. He does get bigger than Shell more often than not.
Yeah.
Firehair is a replaceable.
Irreplaceable.
Oh, you think irreplaceable?
I think she's irreplaceable. If you want to play a Firehair deck, you need Firehair.
That's true. But not. I think she's irreplaceable and fine, not irreplaceable and like strong.
I'd agree. Yeah, she's fine. I think she sits
Above War Machine.
above. I was gonna say above Zemo.
Zemo. I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying she's gonna get
Khonshu.
nerfed day of. Wrong. So he's made. Here's the. I don't know about Khonshu because he's made base discard kind of come back, but also it's now playing him. Does that mean that he is like? Is he irreplaceable? I don't think so. But I think he's also. I don't. Is he strong? What are you thinking on him?
I think he's replaceable and fine, but like above Diamondback and speed. I mean, because you still have to play this card, whereas like Proxima, you just
Sure.
on the board.
Okay. I'll give you that.
First Ghost Rider is.
This is sitting near. He's near Festus, I think.
Yeah, I think he's left.
Even with the changes, right? Like I've actually been playing a deck that uses it. It's just yeah. And these, especially as we get to these more recent ones, these are going to be a little bit more biased based off meta or whatever, and our own personal experiences here. But with Goliath, this is replaceable and strong.
Yes.
This is above Goliath.
Yeah.
I like that.
Captain
Captain Carter is-
replaceable and fine.
I think she's irreplaceable and fine. You can't get a card that does exactly like she's so many lists that try to use her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's in. Is she worse than Agamotto?
Yeah. The spells really put Agamotto up there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not certain, but I don't know if I'm gonna agree. This KRE is replaceable and fine. I don't think you scroll any higher.
I'll put her above. Let me put her below Cole.
Okay, I like the logic. Yeah. I mean, that's it. So these are all the cards that are Series 4, Series 5 in Marvel Snap right now. And so the tier list a little bit different than normal as we're looking through these right here. But like, I think this is a better way to look at it, and it's going to give you more potential details on the types of decks that you want to play. You can use your own personal preference here when you look at the style of list and see what you're really like, what your favorites are. And again, to buy these, we're not saying that those are more irreplaceable, more strong than everything else, but these are like those are ones that you just want to have in your collection.
And some of these
Nothing the other ones
irreplaceable and
aren't.
strong could kind of bleed into that too.
I'd agree with that, yeah. But that's on personal bias. Let us know what you think. Or did we mess something up really badly? Let us know down below. And while you're down there, you got to make sure you're subscribed to Tucker. Y'all, he just had a kid. He's awesome. He's insane. And while doing that, he's putting out content still. He's still streaming. He's still putting out TikToks. He's still uploading YouTube videos like this one right now. Go over to youtube.com/@Tucker, twitch.tv/Tucker, tiktok.tv or something like that. I don't know. I don't know TikTok links. TUCCRR everywhere. You would like to find some great content. Twitter as well. Get him. Get the man. The man is amazing. You're gonna enjoy your time over there. I promise you. I have as well. So go do that. Go. Shoot.
But before you guys go away, definitely hit all of Dance's links up first, which will also be down in the description below. Dance is back on YouTube. He's going to have a lot of videos coming out this week. I know he's going to be doing a lot of testing with Infinity Ultron as well as maybe some other shenanigans as we do prep for the already midweek of the season. He's going to be doing maybe another high voltage best decks to use in high voltage video. So definitely be on the lookout for that. His YouTube info will be down in the description below. His streams where he's going to be making a lot of this content will also be down in the description below if you want to catch him live. This man yaps here on the Yap as well as on his streams. Certified Yapper man. So definitely check that out. He also has a Twitter. Blue Sky, I don't have the Blue Sky, but all those are going to be notmydance, which is NOTMYDANCE. Not My Dance. Definitely go ahead and check all those links out and let us know down below what are your guys' thoughts on, yes, like Dan said, this tier list, as well as is there anything you guys would like to see in these future yaps? Would you like us to open any snap packs live for you guys as well, which probably we won't be able to do that because we're collection complete, but sorry. Let us know if there's any other stuff you guys would like us to add to the app or things you might want to see maybe every now and then on the app. We're all ears and definitely want to hear what you guys think. But until the next time, it's been real and laters.